It is the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. 6 Virginia Tech Hokies are out there for the events. Basil Tutin, the running back, Dorian Strong, the corner, Aeneas Peebles, and Antoine Powell-Ryland, a.k.a. APR, representing the defensive line, Jalen Lane and Daquan Felton out at wide receiver, all taking a look at the Combine. If you go off of the page that the NFL.com uses, Basil Tutin, the highest grade of all those guys out there. And, the running back position is an interesting position because it's getting kind of a revitalization after what Derrick Henry did and after what Saquon Barkley did, and how some of the teams who were still playing towards the end of the playoffs relied heavily on the running back. And I think we're starting to see a little bit more when it comes to these running backs getting a little bit more action here. And so I'll be interested to see, how Tutin does in his group. And will we consistently see a lot of running backs move up and start getting a little bit more respect because of the free agency? Or is it just the free agents? Is it just the guys that we know about that get a little bit more love when it comes out there? So we'll see what Basil Tutin can do. Dorian Strong is an interesting guy at corner, 6 foot 179. You like your corners to have a little bit of size out there. And he's got a decent grade when it comes to the next-gen statistics on NFL.com. They list him as a 6.17, good backup with the potential to develop into a starter. Now, the irony is, and I was trying to look for some 7-round mock drafts. I couldn't find any 7-round ones, but there's a 4-round one on WalterFootball.com. And Dorian Strong's the only Hokie that it gets listed in terms of getting drafted. 93rd in the 3rd round to the New Orleans Saints. They basically say, and there's only really 2 sentences here, the Saints could spend multiple picks on cornerbacks to replace Marshawn Lattimore. Dorian Strong has nice size and high potential. So we'll see. I mean, this is a guy that has shown some potential out there on the field. We'll see how high he goes, but Walter Football thinks he could be a 3rd-round draft pick. Aeneas Peebles and APR both get grades of 6. According to NFL next-gen statistics, traits and talents of a guy who could be a starter or at least a above-average backup. This is why Tech's defensive line was really good this season. And so, I expect both these guys to test out well, and we'll see how they do in the interviews. Jalen Lane and Daquan Felton, 2 wide receivers who don't exactly have the best ratings, 5.89 and 5.88, basically average backup or special teamer, but it's all it takes is one guy to kind of like what they see from one of these wide receivers, and they go a little bit higher than you think. When you look at Jalen Lane, he's a slot guy, and slot guys have a lot of potential in the NFL, especially if you're really good at route running and you have really good hands. And Jalen Lane has an opportunity to be the next kind of slot guy that goes out there and is able to succeed, a la some guy named Eddie Royal. Maybe he becomes the next Eddie Royal in the NFL. So we'll see what happens there. But the wide receiver is not exactly well-loved by NFL.com's next-gen statistics. When you look at this team in terms of the offseason, according to the website, this week they've started phase 1 of the offseason football workouts, and they are doing drills called the Hunger Drills, which focus on improving agility, showcasing strength, and lighting a competitive fire amongst student athletes. That is what is said, and that is what's being told by us on the Hokiesports.com website. They're not on the field yet. As of now, thank goodness, they're still the spring game is still scheduled. We're seeing teams left and right deciding not to do any sort of spring games, which is disappointing in my mind. I've said that time and time again, that I really wish that teams would not abandon the spring games, not be afraid of people stealing their players. But unfortunately, this is the new trend in college football. So as of now, I'm sure this potentially could change. Virginia Tech is still having a spring game coming up a little bit later on. And I think it's important. Thank goodness, first episode of the 3 that we've done where we're not talking about a new coordinator. The defensive coordinator has been there for a couple weeks. The offensive coordinator has been there for a week plus. They're trying to get to learn everybody. They're trying to formulate the playbook, get them ready for the actual spring practices, and then a long offseason where you hope that these players learn exactly what they need to learn in terms of the plays, how they will be used in this offense, and if somebody leaves, they're going to hopefully be able to go find somebody new to replace them on the roster. So that's what's kind of updating you on the campus side of things. The hunger drills are going on for the football team, and 6 guys are at the combine. We'll tell you more as we start getting more I believe the defensive linemen were out there today. So I haven't read too much about what's going on with APR and Aeneas, but we will certainly keep you posted on the show as they start getting more and more headlines.